Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is, as ever, utterly fantastic to have you here, because today we're going to be doing something very different. We're taking a pause on our million-layer Damascus steel katana, and we're gonna work on some art. So enjoy. Thank you for being here. Whether this thing is art or not is going to be up to you to decide, because art tends, in my view, to be in the eye of the beholder as opposed to the person that made it. Lots of people making art that's not art. Now, this might well be another one of those instances. It's Sunday morning, and I'm here in the workshop trying to decide what it is that I want to make, and I have the idea in my head to make a candle holder, but not just any candle holder. Right now, up on the screen is a candle holder that I made a while back, which is essentially, it's nice. It's an upset piece of steel with a hole in it that holds the candle. I want to try something different. What I want to try and do is I want to have an upset piece of steel like this. I want to have a cup in the top of the piece of steel, so there's a concavity in the piece of steel there, and then an extrusion that comes up from that concavity, from which I can draw out a long piece of steel and then wrap it around a mandrel, spiraling up or helixing up so that the candle can then sit in it. The concavity at the base of it will allow the dripped wax to sit and accumulate, and hopefully this will look interesting. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of steel and we're going to make a tool. And so of course we're going to begin here in the milling machine, because for the tooling I think I need to make, I'm going to need an off-center hole. That way when we draw out the material for the actual candle holder part that comes up, its origin points off-center so it can then wrap around and have the candle in the middle. I'm going to feed this 12mm end mill that is indeed center cutting. I'm feeding it from the mill. Sorry, feeding it from the knee, not the quill. The quill is obviously what you pull down with your hand. The knee is what you crank with your left hand. I really do like using the knee of the mill instead of the quill for drilling larger diameter holes. I feel I get a more even and consistent pressure. But then again, what do I know? I'm not a machinist. Oogly doogly, there's our 12mm hole. That looks like it went rather nicely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over into my Colchester student lathe. So we faced off the back end and we've done a little slight radius chamfer there. And of course, we're going to turn it back around where we have our off-center hole. We're going to give it another tighten in the chuck. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to be utilizing the power feed on the x-axis and the y-axis to be able to form not quite a semicircle, but a little bit of a rounded end here, a very heavy rounded chamfer, so that when we squish it in, we get that concavity to capture the candle wax. So here is what we have. We have a nice radius here on the working end, and we have a 12mm hole, half-inch hole drilled down in there. And I took a carbide burr on a little electric die grinder, and I radiused that off heavily so we don't have any sharp corners. Hopefully, of course, the backside is nice and flat with a radius. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take another piece of steel. This is going to go in the fire, and we're going to see if at all this works. It very well may not. Righty-ho! Let's see how this goes in the hydraulic press, if it fits. Yes, it fits. I'll line it up, roughly in the middle. Let's hope it's exactly in the middle. I'll give it a squeeze. Whoa! That is so cool! Holy moly! How do I get it off? Okay, I now gotta work out how to get this thing off of there. That was awesome! Yes! No! It didn't work very well. Yep, it worked rather terribly. As you can see, we pressed down into it rather far, but the bulge didn't come up very much. Two ideas. One, I make sure that I allow the air to escape as I push it in, and so I drill a hole in the tool. That's what I'm gonna do, but the other idea might be that this simply just absolutely will not work. I only took 2 holes to find it. Okay, time for take 2. Okay, as you can see, attempt number 2 also did not work. I even tried a smaller diameter piece of steel, thinking that those proportions would allow this to extrude up higher than this ridge. It didn't. We need to have a think. A little rethink time is indeed needed. They do look like cool shapes, though. If only I could get that thing to stick up further, that little thing to stick up further, we'd be in good shape. Right, so here is the plan now. I've drilled a hole in this piece of steel, and we have chamfered the edges. I'm going to heat up another billet of steel. I'm going to cool off the back end. We're going to drive it in here, hopefully create a little nub, and then take our convex punching tool thing and then go in and see if we can pinch it out. Let's see how it goes. Nope, didn't work. Not one bit. Interesting shape though. Another interesting failure. However, interesting to learn how to form this type of shape here on the press. Looks pretty cool. It's like a rivet there. Cooled off the backside in the water, upset the top. Nice controlled swelling, but obviously flattened down the little nub that was created, but there was very little nub. So now that I've successfully changed my first ever lathe chuck, I'm going to try something that is the last and final option of the day. This is scary. Oh, that's so scary. Well, it only took about an hour and a half or so, and I have an off-center 12mm stud on this piece. Let's see if we can make this work. This is what I'm gonna do, of course. This is gonna be set here. I'm gonna come in here with our top tool, and we're gonna try and smash that down. See if once we form that concavity, we can still draw this out. Attempt number 4! Okay, so what do I think of this? I think that that is not very good at all. This theory is not working so well, but I want to see what I can get from it. Let's give it a go. Okie dokie, I am gonna go ahead and touch mark this, despite the fact that I indeed do not consider this a success. Now, why is it that I don't consider this a success? I don't consider this a success because, naturally, as you saw, I did not have enough material to work with, so I couldn't do enough drawing out of this stem. Working with that 120-pound Pilkington power hammer to draw that down was very, very difficult. It took a lot of time to do it, and there was no way I could get any more length while still having any degree of structural integrity, which means that with only one loop, and with the loop starting at the top. The inevitable result, of course, is when a candle is in there, it is not going to be very securely held, which obviously is a safety risk when you're talking about having a candle with fire, as if there are candles without fire. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed seeing me try and indeed fail. Only four times. I tried and failed 4 times, but it was a fantastic learning experience, and it's something that's very worthwhile doing. Just having a day of experimentation and failure. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a shame that this has been a complete failure, but all it is an opportunity at some point in the future to take the knowledge I've learned from doing this, apply it to something else, and have successes. I hope that you are going out and into your own workshops and enjoying your own experimentation and your own failures, because I loved this. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you on the very next episode. Bye-bye.